Hi, everybody. Today I am joined by Southwestern College librarian Tony McGee, who is going to share with us all of the different ways that you can stream media in your online courses. We're going to be looking at academic videos that you can embed in your Canvas course, and we'll walk through it from start to finish. How to find them, how to choose them, and how to embed them. So, without further ado, let's turn it over to Tony so we can learn all about it.
Hi everyone, this is Tony McGee. So glad you're with us. Today what I want to do is share with you some of the streaming video materials that you have access to as faculty and in many cases for your students here. So I'm going to actually start off with the library's website. And of course from the college's webpage, we're now under student support. So if you want to start from the college's page, you'll start at student support. And then the link to the library will take you to our new homepage. Now for faculty access, over on the left-hand side, you'll see a little plus on the menu here, menu bar over on the left-hand side. If you click there, you'll see a link to faculty information. And so it's kind of been a redesign of all the pages here at the college. And so some of them are a little bit more hidden than others. But this is kind of like the starting point for video instruction for faculty. So on this particular page, as you kind of slide down, you'll see in the right-hand side, the second box, videos for instruction. And if you would go ahead and click on that particular link, and it will take you to our streaming material that we have for faculty use. And there's 4 different vehicles that you guys can use for in-classroom use. And I'm going to kind of go briefly over all 4 of them. And the first one is Films on Demand. And Films on Demand is the only streaming video player that we have embedded into Canvas. So you can access this one through Canvas. I'm going to start off with the website. I tend to use the website to actually find materials and get the title of a particular item, and then do a title search within Canvas to bring up that particular video. I'm here at the Films on Demand website now, and you can kind of browse it in many different ways. Up at the very top, you can certainly search it. So if you happen to know of a particular title that you're interested in, you can search there. But they do have a menu item over on the left-hand side under menu where you can browse videos. And I tend to point faculty to this area where you can browse videos because they're arranged in different subject areas. So for someone kind of starting off in a particular subject, this is where you find real good videos in maybe your particular subject area. Here's nursing, disease, disorders, disabilities, physical sciences, political science, English, engineering, education, and kind of break it down a little bit further into specific aspects. So for instance, biology, if I wanted to see the videos that dealt with general biology here, there's over 512, quite a lot to look through, but as you click on that link, it brings up the different videos with the titles for each one of those different films in that classification. Now further on, you can get a little bit more deeper into subject areas over here on the right-hand side as far as general biology videos. They break them up into genetics, the history of video, or history of biology, evolution, diversity, and different types of film types, whether you're interested in a lecture, educational video, documentary film. And also they have them broken up by copyright date, as far as within the last year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. As far as looking through the videos, at this point, if I was looking for something, now it's kind of the fun time where you get to kind of watch videos on your own. As you can see, the different titles here, TED Talks, other titles that are included in this. It includes the full video. It will break it into segments in a lot of the different videos here. So the third one on my list, Are You What Your Mother Ate? Kind of interesting title, but here's the different segments of that particular film that I can now view in a much smaller segment. Now, as I click on the actual title of the film, it's going to take me into the actual film with the video, closed captioning link down beneath it, and then the title of the film. It also will provide you with citation information, ways to share it. But for those of you wanting to use these films in your Canvas site, what I would recommend next, don't use their embed code here because we have a Films on Demand app that uses a different embed code. So if you're interested in a particular title, copy down that title, go ahead and into Canvas and search that particular title to find it within your Canvas site and embed it that way. You can also embed the actual segments. Now that you have the titles of each one of them, you can take the title right here, type that into the Canvas app, and it will bring up that particular segment. I'll try and also show you where you can locate it within Canvas. But Films on Demand, as you can see, is a nice little website of different types of films and different types of subjects. The other way you can kind of browse through this is, again, up here in the left-hand corner where we kind of browse by videos. You can also browse by producers. And so this is another feature as far as whether you wanted to look for films, all the TED Talks that they have, Bill Moyers, the BBC collection, CNBC, all the different producers that they have within Films on Demand. You can kind of pull them up in this fashion. Here's films for humanities and sciences, 227 titles. I can kind of click on this link and just see that producer. And then once I have that result, I can further go into by subject. Well, I'm looking for this producer, but I also want films from that producer, let's say in criminal justice and law. I can click on the subject area over on the right, and it will kind of weed those films down to the 5 results dealing with the producer films for the humanities, dealing with criminal justice, and here are the 5 titles here. So that's one kind of fast and easy way to kind of find materials that you may be looking for within Films on Demand, as opposed to just typing in a particular keyword and coming across an awful lot of material, but maybe not within your particular subject area. So Films on Demand is one of the sites that is embedded into Canvas, into every course shell, and you can also search there. But I tend to promote the idea of kind of using the main site, finding a title of a film, copying that title, and then typing that in or pasting that into your Canvas app and pulling the film in that way. Let me go ahead and log into my Canvas course. As I was mentioning before, that Films on Demand is embedded into every Canvas course shell. Right next to the YouTube icon that you may be familiar with, here's the icon for Films on Demand. So that red button with the F on it, that is the Films on Demand website. And as you click on it, it will take you into where you can actually search by a keyword or phrase. I tend to recommend, using the Films on Demand site, looking for materials. And then if you wanted to, use a particular film title, you now have the title of that particular film.
I won't let you.
So evidence in forensic due process. And so here is the actual film. And it does have the ability for you to preview it. The embed code kind of comes up in this, this fashion here. So if I wanted to embed that, I can go ahead and click on embed. And here's the different embed codes, whether I want the large, medium, or small embed code. So as I click on the small embed code, here it embeds it into my page that I'm using. And again, I can put additional information for my students on this particular page, class, view this video, read chapter 5, and then go into a discussion board and kind of compare and contrast what you read in your chapter versus the film clip that you saw. So different ways that you can kind of use the film. Week 4. And save and publish. And so this one is now ready for my class to view within my Canvas course. And I would pull that into maybe a particular module that I'm using. I'm going to add in one more page here and go back to Films on Demand, the icon. And we're going to do an additional search, let's say on global warming. And as far as the format, as far as titles and segments, I want the title global warming to appear, or I want the phrase global warming to appear in a title, or I can search it by a segment. And so if I wanted global warming to be part of segments that I'm looking at, I'll go ahead and I'll select there, click apply. And these now have global warming as far as different segments So here is a segment called Global Warming, a 3-minute clip as opposed to the full video, which may be 50 minutes. And here's another one that's 1 minute and 41 seconds. And so all of these are segments within different films dealing with the topic of global warming. And any one of these I can also embed within my particular course. So I can click on Embed, and let's do the medium player this time. And it kind of snaps right into the actual page right there. And so here is this particular segment within the film. And the title of this film is What's Causing Unusual Hot Temperatures? And this is a segment within that particular film. So before, when I was searching by title, it was bringing back anything that had that particular word biology as a title, a segment, whether it was the actual title of the complete film, but you can also search for shorter clips, shorter segments within Films on Demand within this particular app here within our Canvas site. And so we kind of started out at the page for videos for instruction, Films on Demand, and we were using their main page. And so from here on this particular main page, I could also view by video different content areas and kind of work my way through it that way, come up with a title, copy it and paste it into my Canvas app, or I can use the Canvas app to just simply search for materials also. Films on Demand are the only actual streaming video material that we have on this page linked within Canvas. The other resources I'm going to show you are separate sites. You can embed a lot of them into your Canvas course shell also. The second one on this particular list on the library's website is called Intellicom, the online resource network. It's actually a library of video clips, of different academic video clips. From on campus, you would just click on this link. From off campus, it's going to ask you to authenticate yourself. As a faculty member, your authentication is simply your My SWC login, first initial, your first name and your last name, and your password will be your birth date to log into any of the materials on this page from off campus.
Oh.
And when you log in from off campus, you'll see another screen that will appear asking you for that information. And there's a small box talking about staff and faculty and your login. It's the same page that students also use, but they also use their My SWC username and also their birth date. So in this particular page here, it's done by discipline. You can also search it also up here at the very top, but it's also done by discipline area. And so, you know, the slide bar will take you into different areas that you can kind of look through or look at. If I was teaching a health class, I may want to click on health. Then it breaks it up into specific topics within a health course. And as I kind of slide down using the slider bar here, if I wanted to focus on, let's say, depression, I can click on depression. And here's a number of clips over here on the far right that deal with the topic of depression. And so the first one highlighted, alcohol and depression, it kind of shows up here at the very bottom of the page. Gives me a runtime of 2 minutes and 7 seconds, the copyright date. It also provides me with a little bit of information as far as, a lot of these are going to be interviews or lectures, clips of lectures or an interview with an authority in the field. So here's Dr. Andrew Lecter, Director of Adult Psychiatry at UCLA. And so featured experts kind of gives you an idea who's talking on this particular clip. It also has an embed code for if you wanted to use this within your particular Canvas site. If you want to preview the actual clip, you can click here and it will take you into the video and kind of, or clip and kind of start that there for you. Again, to share it, down here at the very bottom of the clip is where you can also receive the embed code. And the embed code shows up at the very bottom of the screen. And so you would simply highlight it and then right click and copy it. And we're going to go back into our Canvas course shell here. We'll call this one maybe depression. And I can also put in instructions for my class, you know, view this clip. I really wanted to scare them. It will be on the final exam. And at this point, what I want to do here is actually embed the contents of this embed code. So within your Canvas course shell, you have a insert and edit media here. And so you can insert an embed code using this icon here. If you bring this up, just make sure that you change this to embed. So we'll add this into the embed, adding the embed code. We'll click OK. And it jumps or places that clip right into my Canvas page. And now I can save and publish this for my class to view. So I'm going to go ahead and save and publish this one. And so here is the topic depression, and with instructions and the actual clip for my class to use. So again, in telecom, where did I find that? I was on that videos for instruction for faculty. This is the second link on this page. The next one on the list is Swank Digital Campus. Now, Swank is a little bit of a different product in that it has complete featured films from major Hollywood studios. Unfortunately, these do not embed into your Canvas course. So you have to use your particular the website to direct students to. And you're certainly welcome to use any of the films here. As we click on Swank Digital Campus, again, if you're on campus, you won't need to log in. It will log you in automatically as it's doing me right now. Off campus, it will generate another form that's going to ask you to log in with your SWC network account and then your birth date. And that's how you'll log into Swank from off campus.
Oh, wow.
Now, this, as you can see, has a number of featured films that are very current. You know, Black Klansman here is nominated for an Academy Award. Crazy Rich Asians, Darkest Hour, nominated, I think, last year, and a number of Hollywood films. These are the ones that were recently added. This is a shared collection among the local community college libraries here in San Diego and Imperial County. So we all kind of share this site. There's, I believe, close to 300 titles here. You can also search by a title. You can also view them by category up here in the top left-hand corner. We're looking at all of them. If you want to see a list of just simply documentaries, you can click on documentaries and it will bring back a list of the documentaries in this particular collection. So here's Blackfish, Four Little Girls, one on Barack Obama, Fed Up, Freakonomics, a number of different documentaries that you have access to for your students to use or view, that you could assign them to watch or point them to some of the resources here. I'm going to click on this one here, just simply Waiting for Superman. So we click on that particular title. It takes you right into the actual film, and this is where you would start it. This particular site's different from all the others in that none of the films are broken up into chapters, and that's strictly because of the licensing from Swank and from the producers of the films. So they don't allow us to chapterize any of the actual film. So this film is 1 hour and 51 minutes, and you have the complete film here. What I would recommend, they have this direct link here and copy LMS link. These do not play well with Canvas, so I would not recommend using these currently. What I will recommend is if you wanted to provide your students with a link to the film, you may want to use this one here, Digital Campus. But how I kind of direct students in my classes to get to this film on this site is I direct them to the Swank website, and you could either use the link here on this particular page or the library's homepage. We have a link there. And once you get them to the Swank page, have them click on it, log in, and provide them with the name of the video. They can kind of search it at the actual Swank site.
Tony, is there a limit to how many people can view a video at the same time?
No, one of the good things about this is it's unlimited usage. Your entire class could be logged in and viewing the film. What's nice about it is if you have it as an assignment, your students can view it at any time. The only catch to the library's login is that we try to provide a password that everybody can remember, your birth date, the month, day, and the last 2 digits of your birth year. So not 1980, but just, you know, January 1st, 01/01/80, all one string as your birth date. So again, organized into different categories. We can look at them by title also, and they're kind of broken up here alphabetically by title, where you can kind of go through the complete site this way, and by category. And the way they're broken up into categories is here's the ones that have been recently watched, documentaries. They're also broken up into dramas and into different genre. And that's sort of the splash page that you'll come to at the very beginning: science fiction, comedy, horror, war, crime, westerns. But again, you can look at any category up here at the very top of the page. Also, the library can also purchase films for just our collection, not shared with the other libraries here in San Diego County. So if you're interested in a particular Hollywood film, shoot me an email. It may be available in Swank, and we can possibly purchase that for you and add it to the Southwestern College collection.
So Tony, if a student comes here to watch an assigned video and then finds another one to watch, is that okay?
They can watch as much as they want to here. This one is actually purchased outright, paid for, and I believe the majority of them, I believe they also have public performance rights. So if someone wanted to use it on campus, we can also use these films on campus too. There may be one or two that aren't. So I would check with me. Disney does not play well as far as public performance. So there may be a couple of Disney films that aren't available in public performance rights, but the majority of these could be used on campus for a group showing. So this is the Swank collection, but you do need to kind of come to this site to view the film. It does not have any sort of app that will embed into Canvas, and that's simply because of the licensing and the producers and how they want to control their particular resource here. But these are available for use in class and also for your students to use also. So I'm going to kind of jump back to the page we've been kind of working off of, videos for instruction. And as I go further down the page, the last one I want to talk about here is Canopy Streaming. This one is probably the more recent addition. We've actually had this for a year and a half, but Canopy's a little bit more interesting as far as the access and the purchasing and the licensing of films within Canopy. Our collection currently, we have over 90 titles. So if you click on this link, it will take you to our Canopy site. And these are films that are available for faculty to use. And actually, if you want to direct your students to use these, they can also use these also. But we're kind of limited to these 90 titles due to the licensing arrangement with Canopy. The one different with the Canopy resources is that they are licensed on a one-year basis. And it depends on when the license was purchased. So for some of these, we're in the month of February. Some of these, a few of these titles the license will come due at the beginning of March. And I can also provide you with the licensing dates for any of the films here too. So if you happen to select the film, you may want to check and make sure that it's going to be available throughout this semester. We tend to take a look at how the usage for each one of the Canopy films. And the ones that have, zero usage or one use, we will probably not be purchasing an additional year license for those particular films. But I can provide you with a list of the titles and also the licensing for each of those titles. So they've been purchased on a month-by-month basis, and they're good for 1 year. And so if you're interested in something here, you may want to check and make sure that the licensing is good for the entire semester.
We have one question about Canopy. Are the titles here different than the titles we will find in Swank?
Yes. Any of the titles in Swank you will not find here in Canopy. Basically, it's how they're licensed by the different producers and these different sites. So Swank has the ability to license Hollywood-produced feature films. Canopy is more into documentaries and foreign films and instructional materials. Within Canopy, you can browse it. And so if you go up here to the top of the page, it's also broken up into different classifications and areas. So if I wanted to see, let's say, videos that dealt with health, and as you can see, there's a sub kind of menu that kind of comes up here: medicine, mental health, nursing. But if I wanted to just see all the ones that kind of dealt with the topic of health, here are the 6 videos in our collection that kind of deal with health. And it provides you with a little bit of information about each of the films. As you click on a title, it will take you into that particular film here and give you a little bit of a description, length of the actual film, and this is how you can actually share it right here within your Canvas course. It also has an embed code, that same way that we did with in telecom. We would click share, and it has the ability to share with social media, but the embed code, it's this tab right here. As you click on embed, here is the embed code. So this is where I would kind of copy it. Again, go back into my Canvas course and create a new page. And the same way that we dealt with in telecom, embed that particular embed code using the insert media icon within your Canvas course. Just make sure that you change this to embed, and this is where you would paste in that embed code. So, and then click OK, and it will embed that. I'm going to move over to the site that I've been kind of talking about, where I have some of these materials, information about some of the different resources that I've talked about today. This page here is something that I've set up for faculty to use. It kind of goes over a lot of the things that I've talked about today, as far as browsing for content in films on demand, searching by producer. As I mentioned here recently, as far as the title list, here's some user guides for streaming media, some PDFs as far as films on demand and telecom, Canopy Streaming, off-campus access for faculty, my SWC username and your birth date, the format for that. And then some PDFs here as far as using some of the different materials. So I go further down this page, this is where I have some of the different title lists. So as I was talking about the Canopy title lists, here is a spreadsheet that I'll update on a monthly basis. It has the alphabetical title list here for the different films within Canopy. And so that's linked up on this page. Here's the URL for each one of the different films. And over a little bit further is a film description for each one of the films that I have. Also, I've created a second spreadsheet that has the licensing date. And so I didn't want to put too much information on each one of the different spreadsheets, but let me show you what that one also looks like. And so this one here, here's the by licensing date. So we just renewed a number of different films January 1st, and their licenses through 2020. But here are the ones that are coming up in March 1st, 2019 and April 1st. You know, if you see something here that may be coming up as far as the license ending before the end of the semester, if you want to shoot me an email saying, hey, Tony, I'm planning on using this particular video this semester. I plan on using it, you know, like in week 13. I want to make sure that it's going to be renewed. That's the type of information I really want to have, so I can kind of plan to renew that. The ones that are, you know, real low usage, they're not going to be renewed simply because they haven't been used enough. For our Canopy site, we hoped that this was going to be used for faculty, that it was going to be accessible for faculty. Unfortunately, some students got into the actual site and generated some purchases by viewing films. And so that's how come we have so many titles right now, and some of them have maybe 1 or 2 usage as opposed to, you know, 30 or 40 that are being used in a classroom setting. So I'm looking at those that we don't really want to renew on a regular basis, and cherry picking those off the list as I go for the rest of the semester. And so hopefully we'll kind of weed down this list, and at that point we'll have a better idea as far as how much the cost of Canopy is on a yearly basis for us here at Southwestern College, and can then make some decisions as far as whether we want to add additional films in that format. But for right now, it's kind of locked down into these 300 titles. And as we go a little bit further into the summer, we'll have a better idea as far as what films are being used in classes and by faculty. And of course, if you have a film that you're interested in, especially on this list that may be coming up for renewal, shoot me an email, let me know, give me a phone call, leave me a message. That's the kind of information I want to know about.
Thank you so much for joining us. We had so many really good ideas here. I'm glad to see in the chat how useful this has been for everybody. Tony is a wealth of knowledge about videos and streaming. And so thank you for your time, Tony.
Oh, sure. Thank you for having me.